Parma, Ohio has gotten so cool that even Snoop Dogg had to come check it out. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about Parma, Ohio. Hi guys, I'm Patty with Patty Sells CLE, and this is my channel Living in Cleveland, where I make videos about all things Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. You know what to do, and you know what? You're going to love this video so much. Why don't you hit that like button right now? Thanks. Okay, let's get started. Parma, Ohio. Yes, Snoop Dogg was there. Today's Earth Day, April 21st. Yesterday was 420. If you know what 420 is, pretty funny that Snoop Dogg came to Parma on 420 to promote, I guess he's got a new gin, and he was in town. He's traveling the country looking for cool towns to visit, and Parma was on his list. So how cool is that? I was on Facebook last night, and one of my friends from high school, who's a teacher in North Olmsted and was taught my kids English, she posted a picture with her and Snoop Dogg. How cool is that? He was at Sloppy Bob's at on State Road last night, so pretty cool. So, and if you're from Cleveland, you know that Parma has a pretty, or had a pretty rocky reputation. When I was growing up, man, did we make fun of Parma. You know, I grew up in Cleveland, you know, so I guess I had to deal with my own, you know, bad perception of my own town. But Parma, ooh. And when I've done my Cleveland video, I talked about how nationwide in the 70s and 80s, everybody in the nation made fun of Cleveland. Well, in Cleveland, everybody made fun of Parma. Goulardi, who was a TV personality in the 60s and 70s, he had a skit where he would dress up. He called himself a Polak. You know, he had a smoked cigar, and he wore white socks with his loafers, and you know, that didn't help. And he was always making fun of Parma, even though he lived in Parma, you know. And also, Parma's famous for having pink flamingos, even though when you looked back, none of the other suburbs had any more pink flamingos in their yard as Parma, but it just became a thing. I remember when I was a kid, if we saw somebody walking down the street with white socks, we'd yell, "Go back to Parma!" So whatever. It's gotten over itself. You know, back in the 70s, it also went through, and it's still dealing with it, I remember it, discriminatory housing practices. But to make up for that, right now, they have one of the toughest fair housing laws in the entire state of Ohio. So Parma has really, really worked hard to overcome all that negativity back from the 70s and 80s and even embrace it. You know, the one thing about wearing white socks and pink flamingos is the ethnicity. And Goulardi was kind of false when he said all of Parma is a bunch of Polacks, because that's really not true. The #1 ethnic group is actually German. Polish is #2, and then you have Ukrainians, you have Irish, Italian, just like any other, you know, inner ring suburb or the city of Cleveland itself. You know, this was a booming town. So people were coming from all over. And you know what one of the best parts of living in an ethnic area? Hello, the food. You go down, there's a Ukrainian village, there's Polish village, the meat shops that are still thriving today, all those little mom and pop shops, they are thriving. The pierogi shops, the pizza shops, I mean, you name it. Parma has it. Another thing, you know, Parma really started booming after World War II when you know, everybody was coming home from the war. They were starting their families. So that's when it really started growing. So the one thing you're going to have is these cookie cutter streets. Parma's famous for it, having all kinds of bungalows, you know, and they would joke, every house looks the same. It's the same bungalow, just a different color. But that being said, you know, that's what it was. And, you know, but another thing about it is you go down the top of the street on State, Pearl Ridge, you have restaurants, you have a ton of bars. Man, you could do really awesome pub crawl, and I'm sure they have them. So you have lots of bars, lots of ethnic restaurants. It's a great place to go visit and live, you know? So let's see. So we get those amenities. What other amenities besides the food and the restaurants are there? And the pubs? Well, there's lots of shopping. Not only, I mean, back in the 80s and probably 90s, there was Parma Town Mall. I think it's not an indoor mall anymore. It's all outdoor, but there's, you know, it's right by the Parma City Hall. And I would go there every once in a while, even though I lived closer to Great Northern Mall, but we would go to Parma Town Mall. And, you know, so there's lots of shopping. You have that. It also has a golf course, Ridgeview Golf Course. And when I was driving around, I was like, people they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to live in these golf course communities. And hello, Parma has its own. There's one street, their backyard's the golf course. How crazy is that? I love it. I love it. What else about Parma? How about living in Parma? How much is it going to cost me to live in Parma? First of all, let's talk about the tax rate. It is, for Cuyahoga County, it's at 2.5%, which is it's pretty low. Anything under 3 in Cuyahoga County is considered on the lower end. So it's not as low as like Independence, Valley View, what else is lower? Those are the two I can think of. But at 2.5%, it's considered pretty low. So you have a low tax rate. If you're going to rent in Parma, you're looking about a little bit less than $900 a month to rent in Parma. And how about to buy a house? You can get a pretty nice house for under $150,000. Are there more expensive homes? Sure. Just because there's a ton of bungalows, there's also other homes with, bigger yards, bigger houses, but the average house in Parma is probably going to be, I did just sell a colonial in Parma, but it was like the only colonial on the street. It was all bungalows and like maybe 2 or 3 colonials. So, and I went on a listing appointment this week, a bungalow, so cute. We're gonna list it at $135. And it's all been redone. It's got granite countertops, finished basement, everything's freshly painted. The upstairs attic is finished. So for $130,000, you can be in a really nice house. And this neighborhood was so cute. Everybody was out walking around. It was a really nice walkable neighborhood. How about the schools? The schools are really decent. They get a C rating. Of course, the last year when they did a ratings, they didn't do it it was 2018-19, a C, but that's the same as Fairview, North Olmsted, all those other inner ring suburbs. They're all rated the same, but they're still really, really good schools. It's a very large school system. There's 3 high schools, which is crazy for a suburb of Cleveland. There's Parma High School, Valley Forge, and Normandy. And I think Normandy probably has the best reputation. It also serves, I think, Parma Heights and Seven Hills. So there's that. So Parma, good for you. Love it. I love going to Parma. Great shops. I can't say enough about it. So let's get in the car and let's check out Parma. Did you catch those 2 last schools right before this? Yeah, I'm a dumbass. I forgot to tell you. Parma's home to Padua High School and Holy Name High School. 2 amazing Catholic high schools and very popular in the area. And hello, my dad graduated from Holy Name. I am... Anyways, hope you like this video. And if you want to check out another video, click on this link right here. See you next.